So I'm going to talk a little bit with you about criticism and how criticism impacts female leadership. So as a woman, I'm aware of and familiar with the level of criticism that we spew on each other that is directed at me, towards me for whatever reason, and also the criticism that I have directed at other people. There are a lot of articles out there about the criticism that women use or direct at each other and how that impacts us. But let's take a look at it in the workplace, okay? In the workplace, we have been told that we're not capable of doing something, that we're not smart enough, we're not fast enough, we're not strong enough, we're not whatever. So there's a level of criticism that we have directed at us from society as a whole. This is men and women that direct this kind of criticism at us. But then when you get into a place where there is finally a seat at the table, at the boardroom table or whatever, where the company has actively said, okay, we're going to include women in our leadership process. We're going to make sure at least 20% of our management team are women. What does that do? What happens there? Well, it creates this level of competition then among the women because they want to be the one that is at the table. And so then what that ends up happening, what happens is the criticism that is now in the arena, women criticizing other women to make sure that they are the ones at the seat. This happens all of the time. Creates kind of a cat fight, if you will. Another term that I don't really like. But it is true. It happens, right? It's I'm better than you. I'm going to be the one that's at the table. Instead of saying, okay, 20% of our management team is going to be made up of women, if we spent some time focusing on, let's just make sure we have the best management team possible, whether it's men, whether it's women, whether it's black, whether it's white, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Asian, it doesn't really matter. We just need a diverse and powerful team, and we build based on that. The criticism and the ugliness and the competition that ends up happening when we put those kinds of parameters on go away. So criticism is a powerful thing. Competition is a powerful thing. Criticism, if it's done right, it can be a positive criticism. Competition, if it's done right, can be a positive competition, friendly competition. Men do it all the time in sports. So do women. But if it's in a manner, in a capacity where it's an ugliness and it generates this hostility, then it doesn't work. It ends up hurting the company. It keeps women from being in a leadership position for one thing, but it also ends up hurting the company as a whole. It creates this hostility. It creates what I call silos. I've heard other people refer to it as that as well. It creates these silos within a company. So this is my organization. I'm not going to share my information with you because you might take my information and you might do better than I do, and then you end up getting the position that I deserve, right? So you end up creating that kind of environment, So careful with how you create your management team and how you build your management team. Building one organically, that's what you want to do, right? And it creates that trust that happens. Now I have a unique position. I own my own company, so I get to decide who I hire for what and why. And so I've worked very hard to create this level of trust and cooperation among team members. And I promote based on ability, not based on gender. I promote based on talent that I see, that I think I can develop, not just talent that is already there. And so we've created a really strong, solid network within our organization. And when you do something like that, when you build a process like that, it really helps to move a company forward. They've shown, there are studies out there that show, a lot of studies that show when you have a wide variety on your team, you have a very diverse team, then the bottom dollar is stronger. There's studies that show that. If your team is a homogeneous team, you're more likely to have problems.